Hey guys, this is Kristen, and I'm here with MailChimpHelpers.com, and I'm going to walk you through getting started with a MailChimp sign-up form today. So if you are brand new, the first thing you're going to do in order to create your sign-up form is make a list. So you're going to come up here at List, create a list. You're going to name your list. You're going to want to come up with something that is appropriate for your audience to see. So I'm just going to say MailChimp Helpers list. Okay, so you need to choose a default from address that is on your verified domain. Mine is MailChimpHelpers.com, so I can just use my email that is associated with that. Okay, your default from name is going to be where your campaigns are coming from when they show up in your subscribers' inboxes. So either your name or your company name is probably a good way to go. You're going to need to remind people of how they got onto your list. And you will have had to already put in an address, and down here you're going to have the option to choose notifications to be emailed to you. Now this is only going to be sent to you if you are using the MailChimp hosted forms. So I think daily summary is what I'm going to go with and save all that. Okay, so now my list exists, nobody's on it yet, so we're going to make the sign up form to get that going. Here you're going to go to sign up forms, and you have a couple different choices. Now with all the MailChimp sign up forms, going to be double opt-in. That means that people are going to have to confirm their email address by opening an email and clicking the button in the email. So let's start with general forms. The reason that double opt-in is sort of good and bad is the bad news is it is an extra step for your subscribers, but the good news is it helps keep spam bots and stuff like that from signing up. So there's a lot of different choices here of different lists, forms that are available directly from MailChimp. And of course the sign up form is going to be your main one. Sign up form with alerts, that's going to be when someone doesn't complete a field correctly, what's going to show up. Next one is the sign up thank you page. And this is what shows up after you push subscribe on the form to let you know, hey, you still got to go in your email and confirm for the list. This one is the opt-in confirmation email. This is what is actually going to show up in the subscriber's inbox, and they're going to have to click on this button to be actually added to the list. Okay, so once they click on that button, they're going to have to do a reCAPTCHA. And this is also a good step to have. It's mandatory with your MailChimp sign-up form if you're using the general form. And it's a good step to have because, again, it keeps spam bots from being able to sign up. So there's going to be that. It's got that little check mark just to make sure that you're a person. And then the confirmation thank you page is what they're going to see after they complete the reCAPTCHA. So this is just going to be, hey, congratulations, you finished that process and you're good to go. After that, this final welcome email is optional. So if you want to send that, you can just check this box. And basically what that is, hey, welcome to the list. Here's the information that you've provided us. And of course, you can unsubscribe anytime. Okay, beyond those choices, you've got some other forms that don't necessarily have to do with subscribing. You've got the unsubscribe form, which there's going to be a link to in every campaign that you send, and that's just a way for people to get off your list if they no longer want to receive anything from you. The unsubscribe success page says, hey, you've successfully been unsubscribed. At this stage, there's nothing else that they need to do, but if they want to fill out this survey to give you some feedback about why they unsubscribed, they can do that and submit it. After that, you can do a goodbye email. This is optional again. You can send it by checking that box. And what this is going to do is send them the last email that you were able to send them after they unsubscribe. So what it's going to do is just tell them, hey, we're sad to see you go, whatever you want to put in here. And if you did it by accident, if something weird happened, you can sign back up by clicking this button right here in the email. Okay. After that, you have update profile choices. So you can send this out as a link in your campaign, or you can post it to your site, or there's a lot of different ways you can use this, but it basically gives people the opportunity to update their form, which is basically going to bring them to the sign-up form, the main one that you'll have here, with their current information pre-populated. So their email address will be right here in the field already, and everything else that they've supplied you with, and they can just go through and edit the things that they want to change. After they complete that, they're going to get this update email sent, let them know that they're good to go. There's a couple other ones here. This is another update your preferences form that's available, and that would be the one that you would put on your website or something like that. Update profile sample form. List member profiles cannot be updated from test campaigns or archives. So if you're sending out an update profile link in your campaign, that is going to be specific to each subscriber. Like I said, it's going to be pre-populated with their information in the field, so they won't be able to forward that to someone else and have it automatically populate their information because it's unique to the subscriber. And then after that is the update profile thank you page, and that's just saying, hey, thanks for updating, this is what you gave me. Okay, there's a couple other things down here. Forward to a friend, about your list, campaign archives. We're not really going to go through each of these today. So the main one that you're going to want to start with here is sign up form. And first thing that we're going to talk about with the sign up form itself is the options that you have as far as things you can add. So the things that you're going to need to have: email address, first name, last name. You can take these out if you want to, but those are kind of just the bare bones of what you might want. And if you want to add a new field, you're going to come over here, add field, and you have a lot of choices here. So a text field, I'm going to show you what each of these are, is just you can have your subscribers type in whatever they want into this field. To label your field with a name, you're going to say whatever you want to put here, like favorite pet. Okay, you're going to have to make sure you push save field for all of these. This field tag right here is going to be how you're able to use this field as a merge tag later on when you're sending out your campaigns. Required field means that people will not be able to submit this form until this field is filled out. Unchecking it means they can skip it, obviously. Next is visible or hidden. Visible means it's going to show up right here on the form. Hidden means it's going to be a field that exists on your list, but it is not going to be showing up on the form here. So every time that I'm adding a field here, that means that field is also being added to my list. So if I wanted to add a number field, I would say maybe age, but I didn't want people to fill that out on their own. I wanted to enter it for them. I would go here and I would make this a hidden field. Now you want to make sure that you're not doing a required field and a hidden field, because if I make this required and hidden and they try and fill it out, they're not going to be able to submit the form. So I'm going to uncheck that. I'm going to make it hidden. I'll fill that on my end later on. Help text is going to be what you would put in there to kind of guide people as far as what you would like them to enter. So if I wanted to say how old you are, to kind of help people figure out what they're supposed to be writing. A default merge tag value is going to be what appears in your campaign when you're using a merge tag if there is no data in this field. So since this is not required, age is not something that people need to be putting. But if I want to use the mmerge4 merge tag in my campaign and say, hey, happy birthday, it looks like you're blank years old, and they don't have a value, I don't want it to just be blank, so I might want to put in a merge value here, 1 year older, or something like that. Whatever it is that I would want to be displayed in place of the actual number that would be in this field otherwise. Okay, always make sure that you're saving the field. Down here, you can replicate the fields as well, if that makes your life a little bit easier. So, number field, you can put in any number you want. There's not really a reasonable limit to that. Text field is letters, numbers, whatever you want to put. So let's move on to radio buttons. They're going to look like this, these little bubbles, and you're going to have to make a title and then some choices here. Notice that this one also has this button where you can choose to convert to groups. So this is going to be really handy to set up in the beginning instead of maybe trying to decide you want to do this later on, because this will ensure that you're able to use this to create groups later. So, for example, if this was interests, and I had first choice, second choice, third choice, and I might have a product that I only want to send a campaign to if people are interested in that first choice. In order to do that, I need to convert to groups. It's going to give me this, tell me what's going on. Awesome, convert to groups. Okay, so there it is. And everything else is more or less the same here. You have a couple choices that you could just fill in, or you can do like I did up here and fill that in on your own with whatever you want. So I'm going to save the field. I'm going to move on to the next choice, which is checkboxes. Okay, so again, I get to label this however I want. It's going to look like this. There's my label and there are my options. So I can add, as you can see, a lot of options here. So you can take them away as well, and this is going to make you go through and type in the word delete in caps every time you want to delete something. The reason that they're doing that is because when you delete something from this sign-up form, it is permanently erased from your entire list. So if you're thinking, oh, I no longer want to collect the last name of people, so I don't want anybody else to have to give that. When you take it away here, that deletes everyone's last name that you currently have in your list, and that field is gone forever. So keep that in mind when you are taking things away from your sign-up form. Let's see, back to the checkboxes. You will have the option in the checkbox category to have your subscribers select more than one box. So, for example, in these radio buttons, they'll only be able to choose one option. But in the checkboxes, they could choose 1, 2, 3, or a combination of those options. So if you want to be able to choose more than one, checkbox is a good way to go. Next is the drop-down menu. Now, this is also multiple choice, and it's going to be similar to the radio buttons, but just a different look overall. The category is going to be here. The choices that you've designated on this side here are, let's just try this one for fun, days of the week. There it is. Let's save that field. And now, when someone goes to fill this out, they'll be able to click on this drop-down and select whichever day they find the most appropriate. This drop-down field, again, you can choose to convert to groups. So there it is. I can use that data to segment or to send to a specific group later in the future if I choose. Okay, so I'm going to save that one. The next option here is date. So a date could be for anything you want. Now, the date of sign up automatically gets pulled into your list. The date that the information was last changed for the subscriber is automatically pulled in, so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff here. You might want to put something like, I don't know, if you were doing Valentine's Day gifts or something, I don't know, and wedding anniversary or something like that. Now, the date field is going to have to be month, date, and year. It needs to have a year. So you can do it in 2 different styles here, but it's always going to be the 4 digits for the year. You can also make it required, and so on. The next field is going to be the birthday field. It's very similar to the date field. However, it does not require a year. So, again, you can do month, day, month, either way. And that is important to remember because if you're doing a birthday automation, you need to have a birthday field. If you're doing a date-based automation, you'll need to have a date field. And moving on, we have address. That is going to be a full address here. Street, city, state, zip code, and you can have the country here as well. If you don't really need a full address, but you're going for just a general vicinity, you might want to go with zip code. That is going to be a US zip code. It's going to be 5 digits. And the reason that I would highly recommend using zip code over number for this field, because I could just take number and name it zip code, but that means that people could type in 10 numbers and submit the form and would not have an error or anything because of that. So in the zip code field, if they don't enter in 5 digits, they'll see that error and have to go back and fix whatever happened. So after that, you've got phone number. I think that there should be 2 choices for that, international or US style. Again, all these merge tags here are going to be where the data is pulled from, so you can change this to whatever you want if it's easier for you to remember something a little bit more specific. Website. A lot of people might use this if they're maybe a designer or trying to collect people's portfolios, but basically what's going to go in this field is going to be a URL. So people would just copy and paste their URL to their website here. And then this last one is going to be image. This one might be a little bit misleading because you are not copying and pasting an image. This is also a URL. Very similar to that last one that was a website, just this one has the word image in it. So that image needs to be a publicly accessible image that has a URL for us to pull from. If it's just a JPEG on your desktop, it's not going to work. So those are all of the field options. Moving along to the fun part, the Design It tab is how you're going to make it look fancy. So to start out, we have these options here. Start you off on page. See that red line that's going across? It's kind of giving you a heads up on what you're editing. The background color. Anything you want to change, you have this color editor here, or if you already have your hex code, you can just copy and paste it right there. So I'm just going to kind of go through and change some things around. And everything auto-saves, so you don't have to worry about clicking save or anything like that. So the page background, the header is where you can either change what it says up here, or if you prefer, you can use an image. For me, I would prefer an image. So I'm going to go to my WordPress site and pull an image off there and get that on the top of my form so that everything looks like it makes sense. Okay, so here's my image. I'm just going to copy the image address, come back over here, and I'm going to click on Use Image, and I'm going to import from a URL, go ahead and paste that that I pulled from my site. There it is. You can change the dimensions here if you'd like, or you can just go with it and see what happens, and you can always come back and change it later. So this is what the photo editor looks like if you want to change that while you're in here to however you want it to look. Okay, save and insert image. Here we go. Love it. Okay, so now I kind of have something cool at the beginning, and this red line that goes around it is not a permanent thing. So the outer wrapper is sort of the border of the entire form here. So if you want to have a background, you can, but it's up to you, however you want to look. So moving on from page to body, you've got the foreground, which, again, you can kind of change colors however you want to do this. And that's just going to change everything behind these words here. The default text, you can change your spacing, font, size, text color, and the padding. You're going to maybe want to change this depending on what you want it to look like. But I kind of think that their default of 20 is appropriate for my needs at least. The link style is going to be if you have any URLs in here, that would change your link style. So whatever you want it to be, blue is default, but you can get it fancy if you want. Okay, so next is forms. This is going to be the buttons. So basically your button is down here at the bottom, the subscribe to list, and that's what this is affecting. So this is the background color of the button and the text color of the button here. Now this is buttons hovered, so when you just kind of move your mouse over it, it's going to change to this color. So let's see what that looks like, because you'll be able to see how that works right here. Yep, there we go. I like that. So let's move right back to field labels. You can, again, change all this stuff for the text however you want it to be. Field text, that's going to be when people are actually typing their answers. So you, of course, want to make this something that's visible, because if I make this, close to white, it's not going to be real good when people are filling this out. So be careful about that. Required, this is going to be if you want to have a message here that tells about required text. So name is required. Oh, and let's see, that isn't a bright color. Can't see it. Okay, well, maybe that's not the same thing. That might be a little different. Let's see what else we got. Required legend. Oh, this is going to be if you want to show a little asterisk next to the things that are required. So let me see. I see that my text there is not very visible, and that's not good for me. So back here, I think that's where I'm going to change that. That does it. Nope. I am not sure where that text is coming from. Let's see if we can change it from within this editor. That did not do it. Okay. Well, I'm not sure exactly how I did that, but if I figure it out, I will let you guys know. So I'm just going to move on to the next part. Help text is going to be, like I said, when I did age and it was how old you are, that's what this is going to show up as. So be how that text is displayed, and then errors is going to be if someone fills out the form, presses the button at the bottom to submit it, and they have to go back and fix some things that were not correct. So you can either do bold or normal, choose your color, and even though you can't see it on this page, when you go and you swap to sign up form with alerts, here's what that's going to look like. So you can see there are errors below. Please enter a value to let them know where they need to correct some misinformation. Okay, the last thing here next to forms is monkey rewards. So if you're a free user, this badge here is going to be mandatory at the bottom of your form, which you can see mine down there. And even though it's mandatory, you've got some options of how you might want that to look. So these are your choices. I'm going to go with that one. And you can align that left, right, or center. And it's just going to kind of be hanging out down there as a fancy decoration. Okay, so after that, you can go to translate it. Oh, and by the way, if you're a paid member, you can take the monkey rewards out and just eliminate that. So translate it is going to be if you need to have this form in Spanish, French, whatever it is, this is where you're going to go to make that happen. So this kind of goes through everything. I have a lot of stuff on my form right now for my examples that I was showing you guys, so I'm not going to go through it all. But if you need to translate, this is the place to do it. There's an auto-translate button here, which makes life really easy. Select your default language, and it just kind of takes care of things for you. Okay, so another thing that you'll see up here is this box that says let subscribers pick email format. So hopefully most people can see HTML because it's a lot prettier, but some people might need plain text. So if you want to give people that option, it's going to look like this down here at the bottom, HTML, plain text, so that if someone can't render HTML in their email client, they can still see what's going on. Okay, so all those changes that I made to my main sign-up form, this first one, are going to be reflected on my other sign-up forms now. I'm going to get rid of this translate thing so it's not in the way. See, this is not exactly how I want it to be because I can't really read it. But on this one, it was looking good. And I think the difference is that this one has a different background color. So you definitely want to go through and make sure all your forms look the way you want them to look instead of just doing the first one and saying that sounds good. So you'll still have all these options here for some of these other pages, but not necessarily all the options will be available for all the pages. You can't edit all the different text, but let's say, for example, let's try that. There we go. If I wanted it to look like that, I could do that. And I'm still going to have everything else matching. So you can't really make them all separate and unique. You kind of have a main theme going on that the whole series of sign-up forms abides by. So once you have kind of gone through here and made sure all of these are to your liking, then you're good to go. And what you're going to do after your sign-up form is ready to go is you're going to have to put it somewhere so that people can actually use it. So if you go back to sign-up forms, you'll see there's a couple choices. We're going to go through general forms and embedded forms today. You also have the option of subscriber pop-up forms that we're going to not talk about in this video, but we'll probably talk about in a future video, as well as form integrations, which is a little bit more advanced, but our basic thing is general forms that we were just in a moment ago. So you'll notice that we have a sign-up form URL here. So if I copy this, I can do whatever I want with it. I can text it to somebody, I can put it on Facebook, wherever it is, people can just click on it and it'll go straight to my form. I'm just going to throw it in my web browser now to show you what that's going to look like. That didn't quite work. Let's try that copy again. There it is. Okay, there's all that stuff I just made. And that's what it's going to look like when you go to the site. So, you're going to have to put it somewhere, maybe on your website. I put mine on my Wordpress website. And I think that is what a lot of people like to do, so I'm going to show you how to do that now. Again, you're going to copy this URL. You are going to go to your WordPress admin. And I am going to go ahead and put mine on homepage. So I'm just going to navigate over there, go to homepage, and I'm going to add a widget. I have this handy site origin button because I just want people to click on the button and go to the form. So I'll throw that in there, customize it. Here's where I'm going to paste that URL and whatever I want the button to say. So this is going to be sign up for free video tutorials. Okay. And this little widget gives me some other options of how I want it to look. I'm not going through that today. I'm just going to go ahead and put it on there and update my page. Awesome. And here's my website. I'm going to refresh that in a moment, and hopefully that button will be there, and we can click on it and pull it up. Okay, there it is. Let's see, it goes straight to the form. Awesome. And what you can do is you can always test your form, no matter where you have it, by filling it out with whatever information is required and confirming your email address, just to make sure that it works. So that's how you're going to be able to put the general form on your site. But some people might want to put the embedded form on their site. It's a little bit more involved, but not too much, so I'm going to show you how to do that. The embedded form, when you click here, is going to give you a little snippet of what you would see in that general form. You're going to have a couple of choices here of what you might want to set up and some different design options. So you can do classic, super slim, horizontal, naked, or advanced. I'm going to go with classic today, but you are welcome to play with the options and see what you like. You can include the title if you want. You can show only the required fields, kind of shorten it up. I have a ton of stuff going on, so I'm just going to choose that. And a couple other options here of things that I want to display or not display. The disable JavaScript, include archive link, include monkey rewards link. This is my option to enable reCAPTCHA. So in the general form that I just showed you how to put onto your site with the URL, reCAPTCHA is mandatory, but for this embedded form, it is not. So I can get rid of that if I choose. So any changes that you're making here are going to affect this code that's available. So you want to make your changes first. Once you're happy with the changes that you've made, you're going to select all of this text, you're going to copy, and then you're going to paste that onto your site. So for me, I am going to be putting this on, let's see, on my sidebar. So I'm going to go to Appearance. I'm going to go to Widgets. And what you can do, at least in mine, I'm not sure about all the themes, but in mine, I can just do a text, one on the sidebar, add my widget, and it kind of pops up over here. So all that code that I just copied, I am just going to paste it into this box. And I'm going to have a title, which is going to show up right above your form, and it's going to be sign up for free MailChimp help. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay. Once that is saved, I should be able to go back to my WordPress site and go to my sidebar where I added that. I think it goes over here. And hey, there it is. There's my form with only the mandatory information instead of all that stuff that I added. So now all you need is your name and your email and a couple other things, and you're good to go. So that is how you're going to add your form with the embedded code. There are some little other nuances that go along with sign-up forms, and MailChimp has a really good KB that might be able to help you if you have any more specific questions, or you can always go to MailChimpHelpers.com and ask me. I hope this was helpful.